Stowe over here is going to join us, and looks like Darshan and Sonia. How about a nice hand for Reed, Sonia, the greatest sailors in the history of sailing. Okay, that's a big deal. And then Scooter Man is partner captain John Harvey. You want to see what a ship looks like after 1,152 days. Plus, before the 1,152 days, it was like 20 years. And Reed will give you the history of how this all began, and we're so happy that he's here with his family, and it's very, very exciting. And for us, good news, Hand Water Down Weapons and World Rescue Foundation wanted to celebrate this moment and give Reed and his family the true respect that we have for him and for what he's done. So we have planes above us, we have boats on the side of us, and water. Who can live 1,152 days out at sea without ever coming back? It's a very major, major, major outreach. Okay, Reed Stowe. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks a lot, everybody. Paul has been a big supporter of us since we came to New York almost 15 years ago working on this project. And he's been reporting on us all these years. And he gave me an Iridium telephone like 12 years ago to call in from the sea. And that was the phone that we used during the whole 1,000-day voyage. During the voyage, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with it, we sent in photos and stories every day from the voyage. And Sonia sailed with me. Sonia sailed with me. She had never been to sea before, and she sailed 305 days without stopping. That's the longest record by way far for any woman in history sailing non-stop at sea, 305 days. It's also the longest man and woman sea voyage. And we were down in the Southern Ocean between Antarctica and Cape Horn, and she got very sick, and I was really worried about her. I didn't know if it was psychological or what, because it was kind of scary down there, and everything was breaking on the boat. We were in all kinds of storms. She was very sick. Before she left with me, she said, well, if anything happens, can I get off? Because she knew that I was going to go no matter what, do or die. And I said, okay, if you come, if anything happens, we'll arrange to get you off of the boat. So she was so sick, we decided it was time for her to go. And I contacted the man in Australia who held the longest sea voyage in history, John Sanders, and we said, you've got to come and rescue my girlfriend. She's sick, because I'm going to keep going. And he came out from Perth, Australia, and rescued her on day 306. And then I kept going. And shortly thereafter, we found out Sonia was pregnant. She came home and lived with her family in Queens, where she's from, and gave birth to our son. And so we wrote and communicated. She sent me pictures, and I picked them up through my Iridium telephone, and we communicated. And she was handling mission control and telling everybody about the project and waiting for me to come back so that I could fulfill the mission. And I ended up spending another 2 years sailing at sea without ever seeing another person. And then I came back June the 17th, and Sonia and Darshan were on the dock to greet me, along with 30 family members and Paul and Phil and all of my friends. And I completed 1,152 days at sea, and then our family was rejoined together. And now you might have just seen us. We just came in on our boat, and we're tied next to the John Harvey right now. So my life has been living on the water since I was a teenager. I've been sailing all around the world, and I built my first boat when I was 20, and I've virtually been living on my own sailboat for my whole life, living on the water, living on the ocean. And so I guess that's why Phil and Paul thought it was appropriate to have me come to the water festival, because my whole life has been about living on the water. And so, does anybody have any questions?
What did you eat?
We stocked up to live for 1,000 days on without resupply. Of course, we took extra, but it was a very the way that we got our food was through contributions. And it took me 20 years to get this project going. So the first contributions that came on the boat were 15 years ago. So we started stocking the boat up for 15 years while I was sailing and learning about food. But we ate all dry food, rice and beans and pasta and oats with dried fruit for breakfast and a really high quality canned powdered goat milk. And a couple of very good Italian companies donated the pastas and tomato sauce and pesto and olive paste. And Parmigiano Reggiano was one of our sponsors. So we had the finest cheese, and we ate really well. But the key to our diet, to living out there, that really made it possible was that we grew sprouts. And I've been growing sprouts for 15, 20 years. And they were the key to my diet. I ate sprouts twice a day. Living, loving sprouts that I touched with my own hand and nourished with love. So I was eating very healthy, loving sprouts. They were the key to my diet. And I caught fish. I caught tuna and mahi-mahi. And I cut the fish and dried it and salted it. So I ate fish every day also. And I caught the rain with big tins and put the rains in my water tanks. So we were survived at sea without help of any kind.
Tell us about your yoga and your spiritual practices.
I've been doing yoga since I was a teenager, very heavily. And I named my first boat Tantra that I built when I was 20 years old. And it was a lot through the power of yoga that I was able to do what I did, that I was able to conceive of living on the sea longer than any human, and that I was able to live healthily and happily and succeed with the mission, and at the same time focus on nourishing the spirit of our fellow man.
Talk about the Schooner Ann. Talk about today's the day to celebrate the Schooner Ann as well.
Well, the Schooner Ann is the second boat that I built, and I built them with my family at my family's beach cottage in North Carolina, where we grew up as children learning about boats from my father and from my uncles. And it was a very family-supported project. But after sailing the little catamaran Tantra, we designed and built a boat to go anywhere in the world and survive any condition and live in the most faraway places indefinitely. And that was, the boat was launched 33 years ago. I've had the boat for 33 years and been living on it almost all of that time. And the boat was built with love. It was built with family love, and it was built with friends who came out of love. So it's a traditional style boat. The design is almost 200 years old, but it's a very seaworthy design. So ever since the boat was built, everyone always said, well, that boat looks like it's full of love. And they always said that, and it was always, the boat has a certain magical quality. And she proved it by sailing far, far longer than any boat in history ever has.
Share something about your mate that went out.
Okay. Well, Sonia, who was up here on the stage with Sonia, with our son Darshan, I was on this pier here for over 10 years while I was trying to get the boat ready. And it was the owner of this pier who was my biggest sponsor, helping me get ready for the expedition. And during those years here on the pier, a lot of friends came and helped on the boat in many, many ways to get the boat going. And Sonia was, at the time when I met her, she was still in college at City University as a photography student. And she came down and made friends with the whole gang, and she sailed with us and did photo projects about us. And she hung around with us on the boat for 3 years. And she wanted to go on a boat, and it took her 3 years of very calculated deciding before she decided, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to commit myself to going on the sea for 1,000 days, do or die. And Sonia also has done yoga and has a very spiritual outlook, and that was how she was able to adapt and live on the sea.